Hey guys, if you're like me, then you try different ways to get your kids to eat vegetables, whether it means hiding it inside food so they don't even know it's there, or just preparing it in different ways to make it more appealing to them, but still nutritious. And so today I am going to prepare broccoli smashed on a baking sheet with cheese underneath so that when you bake it, it gets crispy, almost like a Cheez-It. So it tastes like a Cheez-It because of the cheese, the sharp cheddar that's getting baked and crispy. And then you get the broccoli on top, which you barely taste. And then you season it with garlic powder, onion powder, salt, pepper, and that's it. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just taking my 4 broccoli crowns and I'm just cutting them into not bite-sized pieces, but just more manageable pieces that you can boil and smash down into the cheese. So I'm going to get the broccoli in the boiling water, and we're only going to boil it for about 2 minutes. You don't want it to be mushy. And now I'm going to get the seasonings ready. So we're going to do garlic powder, granulated onion, salt, and black pepper. That's it. Those are the seasonings. And then we have the shredded sharp cheddar cheese. Grab yourself a baking sheet, and then you're going to line the baking sheet with parchment paper, because if not, you're going to have a heck of a time scraping off the cheese, the bottom of that pan. And then you're going to sprinkle. This was not a full bag. You probably need a cup and a half of cheese, enough to cover the bottom of your pan. This was a cup and a half that was left in this bag. And just sprinkle that, make a thin layer of cheese at the bottom. And just try to get the cheese as even as possible at the bottom of the pan. And then you're going to take your boiled broccoli, which you only boiled for 2 minutes because you don't want it to be mushy. And you're just going to put it on your baking sheet with some space in between. And this is not all the broccoli, but I'll show you what I'll do to get the rest of the broccoli on here. But take your seasonings and just sprinkle some seasonings all over the broccoli and the cheese. And again, we're doing garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and pepper. My kids love the flavor of garlic, but they don't like to see the garlic. And very similar with onion. They both like the flavor of the onion, but one cannot see any piece of onion or they won't eat it, and the other one can eat it raw, chopped, cooked, any way you give it to them. So I'm using granulated onion and garlic powder. After you season, grab a heavy-bottomed flat. It has to be flat, glass, whatever you have. And just press down on the broccoli to smash it into the cheese, because you want this to get crispy and baked together. And just smash all the pieces. And when you're done, you're going to be left with space in between. You want to fill that space in, see that, with the broccoli that's left in the pan. Or if you don't have any left, then just take the cheese that's exposed and sprinkle it a little bit on top. I'm going to fill in the rest of the spaces with the broccoli because we did 4 crowns. So just take the pieces of broccoli, break them up with your hands, and just press them into the spaces between the cheese. Because the whole point is to make a nice flat sheet of cheesy broccoli that's crispy on the bottom and deliciously tender on top. And if you hear that weird ticking sound in the background, that's the toaster oven. One of my kids is heating up something left over from last night. Once you're done putting the rest of the broccoli pressed into the exposed areas of cheese, just take your hands and press everything down into the cheese. You want this nice and compact. And then you're going to take a little bit more garlic powder, season on top, just like that. And you are ready for the oven. See that? It's nice and pressed down, nice and flat. Now pop it in a 425 oven for 25 minutes until the cheese is golden brown and crispy. And voila, just like that, we have a cheesy, crispy broccoli bake. Look at that. So now what you want to do, look, see how the edges are all super crispy? That's exactly what you want to see. So this is piping hot, steaming hot. You have to let it cool for a second. So just grab the parchment paper, pull it off onto a cutting board, and just let it sit and cool for a few minutes before you cut into it. The longer it cools, the firmer it's going to get. And just take your knife and pretend you're cutting brownies. Just cut the brownies, whatever size you like. And that's it. You'll have little squares of cheesy broccoli goodness that you can serve as a side with dinner in your toddler's bento box. You can have it as a snack, whatever you like. Okay, so let me grab a piece to show you. Look at that. You have the broccoli, you have the cheese on the bottom, super crispy edges. Now the ones in the middle obviously are not going to be as crispy as the ones on the edges, on the corners. It's just like a brownie, right? The corner pieces are crispier than the middle pieces. Okay, let's give this a try. The edge pieces are so crispy, and I'm not even kidding. The pieces that are really dark and crispy like this cheese right here almost tastes like a Cheez-It. Not even kidding, like those extra toasty Cheez-Its that you can buy. So delicious. So crispy. So good. And then the middle pieces are going to be softer. Just like when you make brownies, right? The edges are crispier and the middle are the chewier, softer brownies. Same thing here. Pretend they're cheesy broccoli brownies. And just get your spatula and you can just put them as a side with your dinner on the plate. The kids can pick them up and eat them as a snack. Just another way to prepare vegetables to make them a little bit more enticing to your kids. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.